Hey Palumor, it's Pal here, and today I want to know, why is this rabbit on fire? I was trying to record my intro and I just noticed this guy's on fire and I don't know why. I don't know if I should put him out of his misery or what. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. Anyways, guys, today I'm making a video. I'm going to go over some rogue tech. I've been testing a lot of sub-rogue for Season 2 of Dragonflight, and there's a lot of different builds you can play. So I'm going to go over my favorite builds, just kind of show you some of the ways you can play with your talents. And then also I'm going to quickly talk about the PvP talents, because in the new season, there's a lot more variety with these. So let's get into it. So first up, this is a spec that I use most of the time right now. And you can kind of change the spec a little bit, but the biggest thing about this spec is kind of just damage. This is the most consistent damage spec that I found. You're playing both of the modifiers to your finisher, Deeper Stratagem and Secret Stratagem, both of these right here. So you get 5% finishers on your damage, and these also both add a combo point. So with this build, you just naturally have 7 combo points. Now, something I'll say, I'm taking some utility points over here. I'm taking Improved Sprint. I'm taking Prey on the Weak for 5% more damage on stuns. And then I'm also taking Subterfuge. You can actually drop these points with this build. If you want less control and more straight up DPS, you can actually drop these points and you can go down the left side of the tree here. And what's the other thing that I drop? I think Shadowrunner. So yeah, you drop Shadowrunner, and then you can play Vigor. So with this spec, this is going to kind of be like the max damage, max DPS. But if you want more control, more utility, if you're playing more setup type comps, then you're going to just keep it the way that I have it. You're going to take the utility points up here. So just Subterfuge with Shadowrunner. Then you have your Imp Sprint and Prey. You can play either one. But yeah, I would say straight up, this is probably the best sub-rogue spec right now. It's going to do a lot of DPS, and it's honestly, it's very easy. I can show you if I just hit a dummy for a second. The way that you're going to play this build, obviously, I've already made a video talking about the sub-rogue tier that's coming out. That's going to kind of affect your rotations because you're going to get symbols on every dance, which is going to proc your Rotten. But for right now, the rotation is very, very, very simple. You literally are just shadow striking and eviscerating. That's pretty much it. So it's like dance, symbols, strike, evis. You know, blades, strike, strike, cold blood evis. Into more strikes, into more strikes, into more evises. You can even put up a rupture, dance again, strike, evis. It's very, very simple and straightforward. And as you can see, I mean, just in this little test here, I'm doing like 100k DPS to the dummy. This build does a lot of damage. All right, so after looking at those first two builds, like I said, just to conclude, those are definitely going to be the most consistent damage specs that are going to do a lot of bursts on your dances. And yeah, if you play Vigor, you have a lot of DPS, you have a lot of energy regen and uptime. So what I'll say as I move on here is this left tree is kind of always going to stay the same. You can rotate between the Vigor and utility points as you may, but this generally is going to stay the same. I wouldn't play Kyrian point. I did a lot of testing, and this just seems to do way more overall. And I wouldn't even spend time trying to get down to Thistle Tea. You just lose too many good points over here. Now, the thing that we're going to change is the right tree. So a lot of people are torn if they want to play with or without Secret Technique. If you don't know what this is a huge finisher. You can pair it with Cold Blood, and it does a lot of damage. Now, the only problem right now with Secret Technique is if you play Secret Technique, you can't also play Rotten and Daunt. So you're going to have to come to a point here where you make up your mind. Rotten, right now, probably not the most insane thing, but once 2-set comes out for sub, Rotten's going to be probably one of the best talents that sub-rogue has. So I'm trying to get used to playing around this talent currently. So if you really wanted to play Secret Tech and you really wanted that burst, you'd have to sacrifice some DPS overall, or is it just some consistent damage? I would drop Daunts right here, put a point into Silent, and then drop double Lingering, play Secret Tech, and then just probably extend your Shadow Dance here. You could do a build like this. I think you can afford to drop Weapon Master as well, and then you could even play Flagellation, and this would be kind of like a cheesy build, but honestly, like, I don't really know how I feel about this build too much. You can do whatever you want with the spare point, honestly. Probably wouldn't get this. I mean, I would probably just pick up Flag or something, or even a point of Deeper Daggers maybe. But yeah, this build is not what I would really recommend. If you really do want to play Secret Tech, I would probably just play around the modifiers on the right side and play around that kind of damage, and I wouldn't play Rotten. Losing Daunts, you're just losing like a percentage amount of damage on every single dance. So yeah, I would probably drop Rotten, pick up Silent, drop Weapon Master and get Secret Tech, and you could play a build like this and keep CDR, or you can drop Invigorating ×2, get Deeper Daggers ×2, drop Perforated ×2, and get Finality ×2. And you could play a build like this. Now, this build would probably do a ton of burst, but you're losing a lot of utility. You're losing Vanish CDR. You're losing Rotten, which is going to be really good with 2-set. But yeah, if you really do want to play Secret Tech and have those huge burst windows with Secret Tech, I would recommend a build like this. All right, now we are going to talk about the PvP talents. Some talents got buffed, some got added, some got changed. So yeah, let's look at that really quick. First things first, let's talk about what's bad. Maneuverability. This used to be an optional talent that you could pick up for PvP talents. They reworked this talent, and in my opinion, it is really, really bad now. This used to basically give you a route break. You would be able to sprint out of a route, and you could play 1 minute sprint. So it was really insane. It was really good for maintaining uptime on casters. They changed it now to a reduced cooldown and reduced duration. Kind of weird. I mean, I guess you could get like a 30-second sprint, but I swear if you have a slow on you, it just doesn't really matter. I haven't really been playing this at all. Second thing, disarm. Disarm used to be a really obvious pickup for us into matchups like Warrior, maybe Enhanced Shaman, Hunter. A lot of these things that have big burst cooldowns that are disarmable, even like a Ret Pally on Wings, you know? This talent is a lot harder to actually pick up now because our other options are so good. Now, the only time I would actually recommend playing Disarm in the current game is maybe into another rogue, so you could class envy them, all right? Because if you're disarming another rogue, you're going to delay the time between their kidney shots. So, like, let me give you a hypothetical, right? Let's say you're fighting versus another rogue in arena, all right? You stun them with a kidney shot, and then they come out of that. You can disarm them to stall the time that they have to kidney shot you back, and you can constantly just make like little gaps in the rogue v rogue matchup with disarm. You can also use it. I mean, disarm just going to completely peel a rogue on their shadow dance. They're not going to be able to build dances back faster. It's really good into sub rogue specifically. But honestly, versus things like Warrior and Ret, I don't even know if you'd want to play disarm anymore because this is just not as good as the other options. In my opinion right now, the best PvP talent is probably Thief's Bargain. This talent's completely broken. It reduces the cooldown of your Vanish. I mean, who cares about the blades and faint part, right? But it reduces the cooldown of your Vanish by 33%. So you have double Vanish charges on a 1.3 minute recharge. And then this is nerfed in PvP by half, but you have 15-second CDR every time you press Vanish, and this actually works on Vanish itself. So if you're playing double Vanish charge, and you have reduced Vanish CD, and you have Vanish CDR, this just kind of makes you an immortal, unkillable thing. Like, you need to play this almost all the time. I would probably play this baseline, and then change your other two. The damage reduction that comes from it isn't really a big deal. You don't really notice the 6% too much for how much survivability you gain. But maybe there's a matchup where there's no way you're the kill target regardless, where maybe you don't need to play this. And that's where you can experiment a little bit more. But I would probably play this all the time. And then your other talents that you're going to rotate through are probably going to be Duel, Smoke Bomb, and then I would say Veil of Midnight, potentially. Silhouette is still a really good ability. I used to play this a lot in Shadowlands. This is really good if you're trying to do a lot of kiting. If you're getting trained, you can defensively shadow step to your team, and it's on a 67% reduced CD. So my recharges right now are 24 seconds. So I don't even know the math off the top of my head. It must be like an 8-9 second cooldown on shadow step, which is just kind of crazy. You could still play this, but honestly, you're kind of immortal now with all the defensive changes. So I'd probably just potentially play Veil of Midnight if you were going to change one of these. But I think playing these 3 PvP talents into almost everything is probably the best pick. You could safely just lock these into any comp, and it's always going to be a decent pick. Smoke Bomb can be used in so many different ways. Shadowy Duel can be used in so many different ways. These abilities are attached to so much utility in Arena. And then obviously, as I just explained, Thief's Bargain is just extremely OP, the way that it stacks with your other talents. So yeah, that's what I would pick up. Anyways, I'm probably going to edit this right now, upload this, and hop on my stream at twitch.tv/Palumor. So if you guys are watching this video around the time that it's uploaded, go ahead and stop by the stream as well and ask any questions if you have them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Hope you guys have a good day, and peace out.